Before we start, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on, that way, you won't miss a single upload. The wagon treatment really suits the liquid shape of the Taycan, and it does wonders for rear passenger egress, rear headroom, cargo space and access, and rearward visibility. Its slightly jacked up stance and extra fender and body cladding give it a slight crossover vibe, hence the name, and its air suspension features a high-riding gravel mode. As in the Taycan sedan, the Cross Turismo lineup has harbored a yawning price and performance gap between the 4S and the Turbo. Both come with the 83.7 kWh performance battery plus, so the $43,200 separation between them is plain to see. There's also a lot of daylight between the 4S motor's 562 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque, and the Turbo's 670 horsepower and 626 pound-feet. This is the perfect environment in which to unleash the GTS, Porsche's focused performance variant for those who would rather crush corners than dominate the drag strip. That said, Porsche claims its 590 horsepower and turbo-matching 626 pound-feet can peel off an 11.8-second quarter-mile run, and it does that at a $134,650 base price that settles neatly between the two. To be a proper GTS, supreme handling and no-nonsense looks were the prime directive. The high stance had to go, and the body cladding was stripped away and replaced with blacked-out moldings, badges, and wheels in the manner of the Taycan GTS sedan. In the process, the Cross Turismo morphed into the Sport Turismo. But the GTS doesn't just sit 0.7-inch lower and look more badass than the Cross Turismo when parked. Its thoroughly recalibrated air suspension settles another 0.4-inch lower when you set the standard Sport Chrono Selector dial to Sport mode, and it can slouch another half-inch below that in the speed-dependent Aero mode. The changes go way beyond mere stance though, because the point of all this was to deliver direct turn-in response and a much more neutral cornering attitude. To that end, its standard Porsche Active Suspension Management, PASM, adaptive dampers, and the Power Steering Plus and Torque Vectoring Plus systems have been completely remapped, as well as its optional rear steer and active anti-roll bar systems. The changes are transformative. Our test car absolutely laid waste to the Angeles Crest Highway, and this applied equally to speedier sweeping corners and tighter technical sections with decreasing radius bends. Throughout, the front end was always willing and on point and never once washed out when we charged in a bit too enthusiastically. Some of that was down to the amazingly authentic feel and feedback of the electric power steering, made possible by a clever system that measures road forces feeding in from the tie rod ends to further modulate the assist level. Mid-corner, the Sport Turismo remains solidly predictable and composed thanks to the tremendous grip from the optional 21-inch forged RS Spyder design wheels. We half expected things to fall apart when we eventually backed off and took in the scenery, but the car's low stance and low-profile rubber didn't add up to an overly brittle or noisy ride on cracked or coarse asphalt. The GTS Sport Turismo is indeed one impressively tuned package that's surprisingly easy to live with.